Hey guys, what's going on? Andrew coming at you. I'm very excited for this video. We are going to find out where somebody who would vote Democrat in the United States would fall if they're voting in the Swedish election. With the upcoming Swedish election, I'm going to take this political party test and we are going to see my theories. I'm going to probably be quite conservative to Swedish standards. I always feel that Americans are quite conservative. Even the most liberal Americans tend to be conservative to Swedish standards, but we're going to go ahead and take this test. It is not really my goal to make this video so serious with every political argument, so I'm not going to go so heavy into all my political opinions, but I'm going to go over it and explain it. I'm a little bit nervous because so many people in the comments have been like, he's a socialist, you're a socialist. And maybe I find out today that I'm actually a socialist, but I really hope not. I'm just kidding. Anyways, let's get into it. This first question translates to, should free schools be forbidden? Free schools are basically for-profit schools here in Sweden where these schools can actually make a profit. Now, their goals are to be successful schools first, but they have the ability to make a profit. Now, I don't have a strong opinion on this either way. I kind of feel like I can understand the conflict of interest of a school making profit. So I think that profit needs to at least be controlled. And as long as the schools are doing well and doing everything else, then I think they can exist, but maybe we just have to be careful about how much profit they can make. So that would be my answer to this first one. Let's go on to number 2. We should increase nuclear energy. This one I feel strongly about. I feel like we need to have clean energy. I feel like nuclear power pretty much is a form of clean energy. So for this one, I'm going to have to say that I very much agree. This next one is, should police be able to have, basically this means stop and frisk in English. This is when in New York City, for example, police could just stop and search anyone, their bag, their person, when they were walking through these high crime areas. I personally against this. I do not think that it works. I do not think that it's worth the damage that it does to the community. I don't believe that any citizens should give up their rights. I feel like every person should have the freedom to walk down the street without being stopped or harassed by the police. I understand that some areas could have some high crime areas, but I do not think this is the answer. And from what I've even heard, some political parties have suggested they should also be able to search people's homes without a search warrant. To me, that's crazy. You shouldn't be punished for being poor and living in a high crime area. And personally, I wouldn't want to be harassed by the police every single day, so I don't agree with this one. Sweden should give less international aid is what this next question is. I would say this is probably a bad question right now because I feel like we're going to need to give more aid just due to the war going on in Ukraine. We're going to have to give Ukraine support. So that's why I would be against this right now. I think we need to give aid. So Sweden should give less international aid. I'm going to be against this one for right now. All right, we're going on to our next question, and this is, the royal family should get less money. Now, I'm a Yankee, right? I'm an American all the way through. I'm American, right? And you know, no Americans are going to like a royal family. You think we like royals? No. It's funny, though, because in a lot of ways, like, our royal families is like the Clintons and the Bushes of the world, right? Because we do have our political royal families. But, nah. Okay, we should lower taxes on gasoline and diesel is the next question. You know, I'm for lowering gases and taxes right now. I don't think we should have higher taxes, put it that way. I think that we should be lowering taxes until we get a hold of inflation. So probably my answer on a lot of these is going to be that case. So looking at this question, yeah, I would be for lowering it, but like maybe lowering it. I don't feel like super agreeing of it, but lower it. Okay, cool. This next question, if I understand the Swedish correctly, would be, should the taxes on property be raised? Well, from what I understand, property taxes are cheaper now than they used to be because I think property taxes used to be done by what state you were in. Now it's what city. I could be wrong, but that's what I've heard, and that's what I think the situation is. I don't want my taxes to be higher, so I'm going to say this is kind of a bad decision. I'm just going to say no to taxes being higher right now, again, due to the inflation going on in Sweden. Okay, the next question. It should be forbidden to beg in Sweden. I guess this is a difficult question because, like, if you're homeless and you need help, then you need to beg. But people kind of beg outside of stores. I'm not sure forbidding it is the right answer. But I'm not sure what the right answer is on that. I'm going to say, Gunsha, I think it's a bad decision to completely ban it. But there needs to maybe be a better solution of what we can do to offer people help Okay, a third legal gender must be introduced for those that don't identify as a man or a woman. I guess this would be like on a driver's license if someone wanted to have it gender neutral. I guess I'm going to sound really woke by saying this, if you will, but I actually like that Sweden has the gender neutral word. So if someone wants to be gender neutral and they want to have that on their driver's license or something and be hen, which is the word here in Sweden, I think that's okay. That's a good suggestion to me, as long as they're happy with it. I don't think anyone needs to be forced into anything, but if they think that a gender neutral term is something that someone can have on their driver's license, if they don't prefer to be man or woman, they want to be gender neutral, that's cool with me. But I don't feel like strongly or against it. I just kind of don't care in that sense. So, like, if it makes someone happy to do that, that's cool with me. Parents must decide themselves how they distribute parental leave, how they use those 480 days. Maybe one of the parents has a higher paying job. Maybe it just makes sense. Maybe the way they have everything set up in their home, they make sense. Maybe the mother wants to stay home longer. Maybe the father wants to stay home longer. As long as they use those 480 days and they make a mandatory time that the man and the woman, or the woman and the woman, or the man and the man take their time off, I think that's a good way. Each person should get a minimum time off, but then I think they can make their own decision. So I am for this. New sales of diesel and oil cars should be banned by 2025. I kind of disagree with that. I don't think we should ban them. I think we should make incentives for electric cars to be more exciting, but I don't think we should be banning cars or oil or any of those things. We should have goals and move forward, but we should use incentives because anything could happen. Electricity could be more expensive. Something else could happen to make it that doesn't make sense. More tax should be distributed from the rich areas to the poor, like evenly distributed. I'm going to be for this. And this is not going to be a popular one probably, but let's say Stockholm gets a lot of money and then there's another commune that doesn't have as much money to pull from. This way they could take money from the rich ones and also give to the poor, basically like a Robin Hood tax. I actually think that would be a good decision. But I'm all about taking from the rich and giving to the poor because, you know, I'm a dang socialist. No, I'm just kidding. I guess paying for prostitution should be, the minimum penalty should be prison. I'm actually against this, but I guess I'm one of these weird people where I feel like this is the oldest profession in the world, so we should legalize it and then protect the women that work there, sort of like how Holland does it. So that would be the only reason I would be against this. I'm not saying that it should be legal, but I just think that there's a better way to go about it. That's just a personal opinion of mine. Sweden must dismantle its plans for high-speed trains. Absolutely not. We need faster trains. They've been talking about building a high-speed train from Norrköping to Stockholm forever, and the plans are in place for it, and it's something we definitely need. That's a great suggestion. I want fast trains, yo. The states must take responsibility for healthcare. And I guess instead of the whole country doing it overall, like Östergötland. I actually think that would be a great suggestion because maybe having it organized that way would make it less overwhelming than what it is now. Because I think the way healthcare is now, it does feel like everything's overwhelmed. Maybe I'm completely wrong, but I'm just looking for whatever way helps with that. Karen's Day should be abolished. I 100% agree with this one, and I'll explain why the Karen's Day should be abolished. Now, originally they put the Karen's Day in place because too many people, maybe they just feel hungover, they don't want to go to work the next day, so they just don't show up, and they never had to worry about money going away. But I will tell you, there are people that come here that are immigrants or come from somewhere else, and they need every money they can. They need all the money they can have. And when they get sick and they lose a little bit of pay, it feels like you're getting punished. And if you compare that to other jobs, like an American job, if I'm working as a teacher in the U.S., I maybe get 5-10 days off a year where I can be sick and I'm stay home from work, no questions asked, and I don't lose any money. I just have those sick days. That's where I disagree with the rule the way it was here. I think it's better to get rid of Karen's Day. There's a reason they got rid of it during COVID, which it doesn't. They wanted everybody who truly felt sick to stay home. They wouldn't have taken it away if it wasn't having a negative impact on people's health, which means I think that people do come to work sick because they don't want to lose money, so it would be better for the population overall to get rid of Karen's dog. It should be easier for employers to give up employees, like workplaces to fire employees. It's very hard to fire employees. I would only agree with this if it was easier for employees to leave workplaces. Because I feel like it's just hard both places. So I'm going to kind of agree, but only if it goes both ways. Because to me, like 3 months before leaving a job, it's nice, but it's a bit much. I'd rather have 6 weeks, maybe max, not 3 months. Okay, how open should Sweden be to taking asylum seekers? Um, I don't think it should be the same as it is for now, from the simple perspective that I don't think that we did the greatest job with the first refugee crisis here in Sweden. I don't think that we were able to support everybody that came here in such large numbers. We couldn't support them from every level of social services so much that the social services were stretched thin. It was not in the intentions for it to be a failure, but in a lot of ways, people didn't get the support. There wasn't support everywhere. There wasn't support in the healthcare, the schools, other services. Everybody did their best. They weren't prepared for that first refugee crisis. Where I feel like we were a little bit better prepared for the crisis and for the Ukraine refugees coming in. Not the same as today, but a little bit less. But I want it to be smaller and more controlled, but done correctly. Let's go to the next one. How much should the police be allowed to use secret wiretapping and surveillance without criminal suspicion? I'm against all forms of surveillance, yo. Nah, man. Without a warrant, dog, you ain't wiretapping anything. So I'm going to say none. But that's just me. I'm American. That's how I feel about that. I think police here are great and well trusted. Don't get me wrong, but like that's just how I feel. I don't give people my rights if I don't have to. I'd rather hang on to all the rights I can have. So that's definitely more of an American view. So the crazy thing here is I'm just looking at the results of my test that I just did, and I think this proves the fact when I tell people I'm an independent. I don't really match with one party. Yes, 45% Vänsterpartiet. The Liberal Party, I'm 47%. Center Party, 46% I agree with. The Environmental Party, 46%. Svalja Demokraterna, 45%. The Social Democratic Party, the party in charge, I agree with 45% of what they say. The Christian Democrats, 39%. Moderaterna, 36%. Here I thought Moderaterna would be the one I agree with the most. I think this just goes to show you that I am an undecided voter, and I'm probably not I would think I'm the norm, where most people don't agree with just one party. I'm a pretty rational person. I think this goes to show that I don't want some unrational party to take charge, and I want some change, but I also want to keep somewhat of the status quo. So wow, talk about being on the middle of the road here with the results, but I'm happy with where I was. I hope you guys enjoyed this one. If you did, please hit that like button, and I'll see you guys in the next video. Hej då!